So hello, here's Tweak. So I'm kind of looking for some information from dog lovers and whatnot. I have a situation. You see my girl, my pretty princess. Okay, well, if you look at my previous recordings, you know I've been bitching about the August 17th incident in which the Edmonton police took a false allegation towards my person about how I allegedly or falsely beat her and the cats with bear spray, quote, bear spray, cattle prod, and I picked her up by one hand and chucked her more than two backyards over to a small brick wall. If you see it, if you see my post videos, you see I point out that it's physically impossible. I'd have to be like 12 feet tall, about 300, 400 pounds of pure muscle, pretty much the Hulk, as you see on TV. Because no animal's just going to allow you to pick it up by the throat and chuck it. So the new situation that has arisen is, well, my situation is ever since this situation happened with her, whose separation anxiety she used to suffer from before. Now, it's probably not good for me because I'm antisocial, so I might have some PTSD. I know I have PTSD. I probably myself probably have separation anxiety coming from my background of being a scooped individual, and then an Alberta welfare child welfare survivor and a scoop survivor. If you don't know what those are, is I was a 2 month old baby. I was taken away from my family and forced into abusive system run by the conservative government here in Alberta. They proceeded to abuse me, systematically abuse me and whatnot, and the abuse got pretty hard and thick. And then I was adopted out to a racist community, aka the Canadian military, CFB Cold Lake to be more specific, where I was the only native kid and had to endure 24, 24 7, 365 days a year for 14 years of abuse. 10 years technically because I was adopted at 4.5. So I had to suffer 4.5 years because I was put in the system at a 2 month old baby. And from a 2 month old baby, I was systematically abused by in the Alberta Child Protection Services until they adopted me out to an unknown racist abuser when at the age of 4.5. So from 4.5 until 2 months, I was locked in a closet and systematically abused and starved and whatnot. And then I was adopted out to a racist wife beating child beater, which was already on record, but due to the fact that the Canadian military covered it up and whatnot, I was adopted out to him, and the Canadian military thus covered up the abuse that he was performing on me as well as on his original family. So I might have some trust issues and whatnot. She being the mutt of the litter, I guess. She has separation anxiety too. So we've been good together. We've helped each other out, and yeah. So I'm trying because she is overprotective. She does not allow people in or around me. She hates other dogs, which I used to make a joke of. She's a cat dog because she was raised by cats, and that's probably not a good thing either because all my cats are rescues. So I guess misery is confronted by more misery. Tweak is he's not a rescue. He just moved in and never left. My other cat, he did the same. And Ripley, we found back in the back of an old address where I used to live, and somebody had really kicked the shit out of her and left her for dead. She was dragging her back hip. Um, Dislocated hips. We had to repop them. We had to. It took about 6 months for her to gain my trust and whatnot. But Yeah, she's an abusive rescue that we found half dead in the back of our yard, and we nursed back together. That's who raised her. So what brings me to this situation is she does not like other dogs, and she specifically does not like the other dogs that were around when she was a pup. One dog barreled over, and that dog is the owners are the ones that falsely accused me, the methed out fucking retards that falsely accused me of beating my animals, and when the cops took. And is the basic reason why she was taken away from me and put into a cage for 2 months. She was chased down the street with guns drawn from point A to point B, chased all around, stuffed in a cage. So, yeah, she's like me. She doesn't like other people. She doesn't like other dogs. She's good if you're in the house and whatnot. Then she knows she kind of trusts you. But I go out of my way, and maybe that's my situation. And this is what I'm trying. I'm looking for help to help her. Um, I've I've always avoided people myself. With her, and after all this incident happened, it's gotten worse. Now I kind of prepared for this because I was told the separation anxiety kind of thing and whatnot. So I ended up specifically buying her a muzzle. Whoops! What are you doing? I bought her a specific muzzle that was um, ordered for her. It had a mesh Velcro kind of thing. I didn't want something that caged that looked bad because come on, look at her. Do you want something that makes her look ugly? No. She's my princess baby. But anyway, I got her a nice muzzle that was Velcro that went over her mouth that allowed her to breathe and drink water and whatnot. And I thought it was pretty good. It allowed her to open her mouth to a certain bit where there wasn't a cage or anything that prevented or whatnot. I had a leash for her too and whatnot, and all that, as I stated, was stolen from me by the Edmonton police at gunpoint, which they have readily admitted that they destroyed, which is technically they destroyed evidence in my case, which backs up my whole entire thing of that they robbed me fucking at gunpoint and they took the evidence and destroyed it, which they freely admitted they destroyed it. So, what I'm looking for is maybe some advice to help her um, be a little bit nicer, or am I going to be stuck with, or am I just do what I keep doing and keep avoiding people? When I take her outside, I go outside to make sure the coast is clear, make sure there's no kids in and around the area, kind of thing. In the backyard, I let her go pee. When she goes pee, I bring her back in. We play in the basement. We go. I take her for walks all the time, but I make sure in these specific days that there's no kids around or like before school gets out, kind of thing. But now with the weather being so hot, I take her out regularly after supper, so kind of 7, 9ish. Once again, because due to the fact that I like to avoid people, that's what I've been doing. I'd like to be able to buy her another muzzle or get whatever returned back to me, but as the Edmonton police stated, they have destroyed my property that they robbed at me from gunpoint, and they also destroyed evidence that backs up my fact that they robbed me at gunpoint. And yeah, I have to go through the paperwork and find where the cop says what she took off me, kind of thing, and why. But anyway, I'm sorry for rambling. It's been 6 o'clock. I've been waiting for whatever. Um, I had an instance where I wasn't feeling good last night, and my Leia went after one of the dogs that kind of, when she was a pup, kind of intimidated her and threatened her. And that's the situation. It wasn't a bad thing. She didn't maul it or anything. I think she kind of nipped it on the butt. But still, it's still bad. I go out of the way. She's aggressive on the leash. And I do realize that her being on a leash is probably a little bit, because they say dogs that are on leash are a little bit more aggressive. But with my background and everything, I kind of have to follow the rules, and that's why I took the preemptive strikes when I got her. The guy buy her the special muzzle and everything and whatnot, and that was all kind of blown out of the water when the Edmonton police abused her, chased her down the street, stuffed her in a cage for 2 months, and what destroyed her muzzle and whatnot. So I'm kind of hoping that there's some Yeg dog lovers out there that can give me some advice. Thank you, and thank you for listening to my rambling, and I hope to hear back from you.